Hi, I'm Michelle with TLC Properties. I'm meeting here with Peter Wright with Rock the Score. He is the owner and operator, and he's here to just answer a couple of questions.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. I really appreciate it. And we've started working with your company. We are a data reporting company, and we report rental payments that the tenants make to you every single month. So that's pretty important because up until now, rental payments really haven't been aggregated or collected and reported to the credit bureaus. So those on-time payments that your tenants make just go unnoticed, which is crazy. So we're here to help people report those rent payments, help build a credit profile, and increase their credit score as a result of doing that.
Perfect. That sounds wonderful. So can you tell me, how does rent reporting work?
So what we do is pretty simplistic. So I always like to say it's a simplistic platform, but very impactful. So what we do is your clients simply will enroll, and we'll put a link in the description here so that they can enroll in the program. And basically what they're going to do is they are going to tell us a little bit about themselves, what their name, their address, social security number, date of birth. They'll upload a copy of their driver's license and also their lease agreement. And once we have all that information, we verify everything with you guys to make sure that those payments are on time. And then we can report all of those payments to the credit bureaus.
Great. That sounds fantastic. Definitely something that we would like to utilize. What credit bureaus do you report to?
So we report to both TransUnion and Equifax, and we do report those as a tier 1 trade line. And what that means is it's reported in the fabric of the credit report. So it becomes part of the credit report's data. So when someone pulls their credit report, not only is it going to show those rental payments on the credit report, but it's also going to impact the credit profile and increase their credit scores as a result.
Great. So how does that show up on the resident's credit report?
So the name of our company is Rock the Score. And so we use our first 3 initials. So it will show up as RTS Management. So that's the trade line that's going to be reported on the credit report. And again, that's going to come directly from TransUnion and Equifax.
Great. So can you tell me a little bit about late payments and kind of when Rock the Score considers a payment to be late?
You guys may consider a late payment when we don't. And so let's just say that the rental payment is due on the first day of the month. Okay. Some landlords and some property management companies consider that late if it's not being paid within, say, 5 days or 10 days or 15 days. And there may even be late fees as a result of that. The credit reporting agencies do not consider that late. It's only late if it's more than 30 days past due. So it could be due on the 1st, but you could pay that all the way up until the 30th. And still not be considered late as far as the credit reporting agencies are concerned. So a little bit of a misconception there. Some people think, hey, it's due on the 1st, I'm late on the 2nd, or I'm late on the 5th, whatever the rules are with their lease and the property management company. The credit reporting agencies see that totally different.
With those rental payments, does that payment need to be paid in full? So the full rental amount needs to be paid by the 30th in order for that to be considered not late.
Correct. It's payment in full. If there's a partial payment and there is an agreement between the tenant and you guys, then we need to know about that, and then we can report the rental payment to show that it's on time. But if it's a partial payment, it is considered late. So if the rent payment is, say, $1,500 a month and they only pay $1,000, it's late. They're past due because they haven't paid the agreed amount.
Perfect. I definitely think that gives clarification. Can a spouse or roommate be added to the reporting?
Absolutely. So we actually have a spousal or a roommate discount. It does need to be connected to the property that they are renting or the unit that they are renting. So as long as they're living in that same rental address, we have a spouse or a roommate program. So once the tenant enrolls into the program, if they wanted to add a spouse or a roommate, they can certainly do that, and we provide a discounted program for that.
Great. So can you tell me what the cost of the enrollment is for just one person versus what it would be for if you were to add a spouse or roommate?
Yeah, so there's an enrollment fee of $48, and the tenant will pay that when they enroll into the program. And then we'll report each and every month moving forward for a cost of $10 each month. And they can stay in the program as long as they like or as short as they like. So there's no maximum amount of time that they need to be in there. Now, obviously, the longer that they're in there, the more benefit that is going to have to their credit profile and their credit score. So someone that just enrolls and is only in it a couple of months, they're not going to see much of an impact. But if they're in it, say, for a year or 2 years, or for the extent of their lease agreement, they're going to see a progression of that credit building over time, which is really, really cool. The other thing that we see a lot of tenants doing is that they add in historical rental payments, and we can actually go back in time. So we can take the last 2 years of rental payments, and then we can add that to the credit report also. And most tenants do that program. They get the biggest bang for their buck with that, and they get the biggest increase in credit score. And it's so if you think about it, credit is a very scientific thing. Certain actions dictate certain results. And one of the big factors on credit is longevity of credit. Obviously, you've got to pay it on time. You've got to have good credit utilization, which means keep your credit cards low. But also longevity of credit is a big factor in the credit score. So if we can go back in time and we can snag the last 2 years of rental history and we can add that to the credit report, now we're adding a seasoned trade line for 2 years on someone's credit report in 30 days or less. It will make a huge impact in their score. And most of our tenants, most of our enrollments do choose that program. There is an extra cost for that, but it's not much. It's just an extra charge of $65, and we can go back and snag that last 2 years worth of history and pop that on there. And the cool thing is, Michelle, they don't even need to be with TLC Properties. Maybe they were with a previous landlord before, and we can grab their information from that previous landlord and pop that on the credit report, and then all the new reporting can be through TLC.
Great. You took my I was going to ask that question as soon as you did that. So yeah, that's great. I am happy to get all this information. I think that it's a wonderful program and something that I think will definitely be utilized and could definitely help a lot of people out. So
absolutely. And if you think about it, your credit score, that little 3-digit number, which we call a FICO score, is really your DNA. Rightly or wrongly, people look at your credit score and they make a determination on who you are.
Right.
What are you about? And if you have a lower credit score, you're going to pay higher insurance premiums. You're going to pay higher credit card interest rates, if you can even get a credit card. When it comes to home ownership, and I know a lot of people aspire to be homeowners at some point in their lives, mortgages are all based off of credit scores. You're going to get a better interest rate with a lower credit score. You're going to pay less fees to the mortgage lender if you're going to have if you have good credit. So that little 3-digit number, that FICO score, is very, very important. And what better way to build it with something that you're already paying? You're already paying your rent on time. Why not report it and build that into the profile of your credit report?
Exactly. I completely agree.
So again, there's a link in the description here, and if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to our office. We'll be happy to explain the program for you and how all this can work. But have your photo ID ready, have your lease agreement ready, have the information for your landlords ready, and then you can enroll. It's a simple process, and we would love to help you out.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to answer all my questions, and we look forward to working with Rock the Score.
Thanks, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.